I saw today that somebody said that everyone has magic, and I was just wondering if you could explain that a little bit.
Yes, when you consider that you're merely a body experiencing a human lifetime, and that your greater, bigger beings and versions of self are actually somewhere else in a different dimension, that is pure magic. That is magical. While there is a lot of positive and negative connotations to the word magic, because people have used energy in a negative way, and so therefore it gets classed as bad magic as such. It is all energy, and so you are definitely energy.
Thank you very much. That's a very good explanation. Okay. So aquatic beings, are there any such thing as aquatic beings? Do they live on Earth now? Have they lived on Earth in the past?
Yes, you're referring to the mermaid communities and beings. They are definitely real, and they have been around even, we want to say, before the Atlantean times. So it is Atlantis times. The mermaids are off planet. They have come here to experience living on Earth as well. They are very much real, and they have been enjoying the experience as well to some extent. But they're definitely real. The mermaids, they are liking to be by themselves. They are reclusive. They are scared of humans, and there is a lot to say about them, and they are wonderful creatures who just want to enjoy and frolic and have fun and play with their kind. Um, Unfortunately, they have been hunted and captured and experimented on. And just like other species have been, just like your zoos, for example, have captured and hunted and um, used the different species as showcases of different things on your planet. So yes, they're very, very, very much real.
Thank you so much. Keeping on the track with animals, I was told that there are going to be new types of animals on the new Earth, types that we have never seen before. I was wondering if you could explain this to us, please.
Yes, there are fifth dimensional animals that you haven't been able to see because they have not wanted to experience the heavier density of the third dimension. And so they are beautiful and have that higher resonation. So they're excited to experience and have their journey on the new earth, and have their experiences. So it is all special times for everyone who is excited to start their experiences on the new earth in the fifth dimension. Of course, those beings have always existed in other places, but they have felt that it is appropriate to experience it at this time with you and the humans. So it is very special.
Oh, thank you so much. I can't wait to see the new different types of animals that there are. Um, about the new Earth, grounding in this 3D world, should we be grounding to the new Earth or be grounding to Gaia here?
So you're asking about how you can settle your nervous tension energy, and you're getting these downloads, upgrades, and you're trying to release and ground yourself from the emotions that have been stirred up. And so right now, because you're on this current earth, it is appropriate for you to ground into this earth and into this existence and dimension, because all of that belongs here. You will not be able to offload, an example, you cannot offload your, we want to say, not baggage energy, but you can't do that on the new earth because you're not there yet. And so yes, you are absolutely allowed to still ground yourself onto this earth and to this existence, and it anchors you. And that is totally appropriate. Just because she's about to move on doesn't mean that you can't still use her and love her, and that is totally fine. All of this energy that you're releasing through you now deserves to be here now.
Thank you so much for the explanation. I have another question about meditation, so which kind of ties into grounding. Does essential oils and scents or music, is there anything specific that would help connect better through meditation?
Yes, absolutely. There are aids to be able to assist you. The frequency and the vibrations of music will definitely help you. You need to use your intuition to sense if the music is uplifting you or grounding you. And it may be harder for some people to meditate with uplifting music, for example, because you're trying to surrender into just the deeper relaxation state. So when you uplift yourselves, we can understand people getting confused about this. So your energy, while we want you to live your daily lives in high energy with lots of upliftment music, when you're trying to go within, you're wanting to center yourselves and not have the higher vibrational music. So imagine we want you to sit alone by yourself and feel into yourself, feel what's happening to your body and your senses and how you're what's showing up for you in your mind, for example. Don't be overthinking what you're going to be having for dinner, but just surrender into feeling completely whole with yourself. And so while we're asking you to do that, we don't want you to have an energy drink, for example, which would be the equivalent effectiveness of a high uplifting music. So we just want to help. We understand a lot of people who have listened to us and have done a lot of energy work before know this, but we understand that if so many people are brand new to this, that it needs to be clarified, and they are nervous to ask these questions because they don't want to sound dumb or silly, and there is no dumb or silly questions. It's only dumb or silly, shall we say, if you don't practice and apply the information you're given. And so therefore it is a great question. You can also not use music. So this is about using your intuition to find out what works for you. You mentioned the aromatherapy. Yes, if you have a pure essence, then you can use the more grounded, think of it as the roots and the barks and the resins of those oils. If you used an upliftment oil, say for example a wild orange, it may be the equivalent of the energy drink as well. So feel into what you're doing and if it's working for you, and you'll quickly know. Do not dismiss this because it doesn't work the first few times. You have to really think, what makes me feel good? What makes me feel centered? What makes me feel grounded and be within myself as one? So this is fun times. You get to explore this and see how quickly you can learn what works for you and what doesn't. So we're excited for you to all experience this deeper, because there has been a trend for you to think that you must live these very zen-like lives and be able to meditate 23.5 hours a day to be able to get enlightenment. And it's not that hard at all. And if you just spend a few minutes within yourself, it would be a great step forward. But a lot of you think, oh, I don't have 27 hours a day. You know what we mean. So it is important for you to stop the blocks. It is important for you to stop the excuses. And just start trying right now, pausing this video and see what comes up for you. If there's something that is something that you have not wanted to think about for a long time, for example, that is a lower emotion that makes you feel sad, stay with that. Really think about that situation, unpack it, and see if you can see it with a bigger perspective now. These are these little prompts that we're giving you to be able to be like, excuse me, you still haven't unpacked this baggage. Excuse me, you haven't explored this as much. And when you have had trauma in the past, you all like to put it away and not deal with it. This is the perfect time to quickly unpack that. You don't have to feel the emotions of the trauma, but you can re-experience that from a bigger picture. Were you a victim and you have felt guilty for what the situation was, for example, is a really good way to unpack it. Just double check if you're feeling guilty or hurt or some other lower emotion of something in the past. See if you can scan it now and look and see if it feels different to you now. It is just easier to release and explore these things quickly now than keeping them festering away in the background, shall we say.
Thank you very much. That really resonated with me, especially kind of took me up a little bit. Is there a certain amount of time every day that somebody should put into meditation, and like the minimum, that way they could keep themselves, open?
Let's say we want you to do it a minimum for 1 minute. And then when you realize it wasn't that hard and it kind of was nice, you'll want to do 2 minutes. And this is all about your own self-work. We do not want to say to you what to do because you have your free will. And this is all about you disciplining yourselves to come from your heart centers and not react so much with your mind and your emotions, overthinking and over worrying and fearing everything. Just surrender into the moment. It is what it is right now, and just accept who you are and accept how far you've come. We feel like we have distracted ourselves because we are also sensing a lot of you all and what you're thinking right now. So please repeat the question so we can ascertain whether we have answered this correctly or not for you.
Yes. The question was, is there a certain minimum amount of time that we should meditate each day to stay open?
Yes. Sorry. Yes. There is a minimum, just starting. So we don't want to put pressure on you because you already have put so much pressure on yourselves, but we want to say to you, yes, you can all meditate incredibly well. Just right now, just stop and thinking and asking, how do you feel? What is going on for you? What is showing up for you? So we don't want you to feel like you have to suddenly experience something or we understand that people who are new to meditation feel like it's a chore, and we reassure you that when you just start, it's just like anything, the practice makes perfect, shall we say, but obviously you're not aiming for perfection, you're just aiming for growth. So just start and see how you feel. You'll know when you're done. You'll know when you start getting distracted. So just settle in and explore the feelings of it. It will become very addictive because you actually will really like the connection more because it does release you from the pent-up tensions and the worry and the fear and the impatientness that you're all experiencing right now. So we encourage you to do it. We've asked you to do it, but we also know that you'll assume that we're asking you to do it for a lot and it's going to take from you and, it's a chore. So when you're ready, you'll start doing this for yourselves and, explore it. We encourage you to.
Thank you so much. how important is opening your third eye chakra, and can you do that during meditation, or is there a certain way that we should go about that?
So the third eye is a little bit of a trendy statement to say, oh, I'm so awoke because my third eye is open. And what they're really trying to say is that they are connecting to the higher energies. You cannot have your third eye fully open in 3D, is what people are assuming. And so it is about connecting with us and seeing all. And so while yes, everyone who feels like their third eye is open believes that it's open the most. And we want to say to you, when you're hitting and reaching the fifth dimension, the true fifth dimension on New Earth, yes, your third eye will be awoken. And so this is why we've had many people in sessions asking for their third eyes to be open. And we have just said, no, settle down. You know, you don't really want that, and it's not possible right now. And so yes, we've opened it up and we've cleared a lot of pineal glands to be able to get the connectivity going and flowing. We absolutely have done that, but you cannot, and you can understand this, you cannot have your full third eye open here in this heavy dimension. And when people are like, oh, that's not true because I think I have, well, we can just say with love, yes, well, you'll experience it even more so on the fifth dimension. So we don't want to trigger people who are so proud of their spiritual growth, because it's not about that. It is just saying that while people feel that they have got their third eye open, just wait for more, because that will be very exciting for you.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. I can understand how complete opening in the 3D would be overwhelming. So thank you. That explains it.
You understand why you will want it, because you feel that that's important to help you navigate through these times. What actually is important for you to navigate through these times is your life purpose and mission here, exploring the emotions of this. You already have the wisdom of all when you are your original selves. So, you know, this is a game. Life is a game. It's a purpose here. You can't suddenly change games while you're still in the game. So, you know, you can understand this, and we understand why you want this, and it is all fine. It is not bad that you're wanting this. It is great. And the people who are wanting to protect their pineal glands and open up their pineal glands, you know, that's all good as well. You know, because people are starting to respect their spirituality and wanting their wisdom and wanting to be connected. So it's all great. We don't see any harm in it, but we're just wanting to say, we're wanting to expand on that more.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Is there a difference between the state that Joe is in right now versus channeling?
Yes, there is, because you are deepening this experience because you're asking the questions. And while some people can channel beings, like how Joe's body is effectively channeling us, she is not able to put out any of her ego's thoughts. We're speaking through her body. We know what she is thinking at the same time as well. And we're not saying her opinions or her belief systems. We, you know, sometimes we can actually be educating her, obviously, too, because she doesn't know all. So the problem with some channelers, and we say problem in quotation marks, is that they're not going deeper with the conversations that they're trying to be told and learned from. So a lot of the ego kicks in because they're not in this deep trance state. And so while some people can channel, it's sort of sporadically, it can be hit and miss. And then when you have fear as well, that can override the messages of the channel. So yes, we understand that there are some channelers that can be pure vessels, and that is very good. But also we understand that there are some people who feel that they're getting pure channeling information, but they actually are not able to see that because it's part of themselves more, that their own ego and their fears and worries and belief systems are also being infiltrated into the message, which confuses them because they don't really know what part is them and what part is us. So it can be challenging, and they want to share the excitement of this bigger wisdom, which is very sweet and is really encouraging. However, it is up to the person, the audience, listening to the channel's information to be able to sense, is this ego-based? Is this the greater information that we feel within ourselves is true? And this is why everyone resonates with everyone at different levels, because most people still have fear-based belief systems and have their own blocks and their own limited beliefs, but we don't say that as a judgment, but it's just where they are right now. And this is why everyone's stepping stones are important to grow from and learn from and expand from. So there is a difference of the purity of the connection. So it is not saying, yeah, we're wanting to clarify it, but we're also aware that the audience is trying to nitpick as well, and the channelers who are listening are feeling all triggered as well because they believe that they are sharing the pure information and they can't see their own blocks. So there is going to be, as always with these messages to you, there's always going to be kickback, and that is fine. We're giving Joanne the thicker skin, shall we say, to not react to the people who don't understand this work purely, who still are based on ego and fear. And so we say to all, this is with love. There is no competition here. You don't have to peacock your experiences to Joanne, because when you write comments to us, you're really writing to Joanne, and this is something that she feels heavy on when you are writing with your fear and your judgment and your misunderstanding of this work. So we have said this before, and it wasn't listened or followed through to, but just be considerate of her time, because it is her energy, and when people are spewing the fear-based theories to her, it does get her down, because she feels like this work isn't being applied, and she puts so much energy and time into this. She just feels responsible to try and help everyone release their fear and their limits. So it's a challenge. It's a challenge. It's a challenge, and we're trying to help her, because she wants desperately for everyone to be healed and to see the bigger picture of all. This is why she's so diligent with this work. So, she's still very human as well. And yeah, she's feeling very uncomfortable because she doesn't like us talking about her. So we will move on to the next question.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And Joanne is a very pure-hearted person, so I can see why y'all take an interest in her. Okay, so I wanted to ask about Michael De La Rosa. I saw one of his messages today, and I just wanted to ask if, he is one that y'all are speaking through.
Yes, we are connected with him, and he is pure, and he has the best intentions to connect with humanity at this time, absolutely. And the information he is sharing is for his audiences, and it is a great connection there. So what his information is perfect for the audience as it stands. While there is still some opinions to his work, that is his own, he is not coming from a place of trying to be He's not trying to lead people down the wrong path. He's not trying to share different disinformation. And while he is balancing his own humanness, it is fine. He is doing his life purpose, and we always support people who want to surrender themselves to our information.
Thank you very much. I felt the truth was coming out of him as well. So thank you for clarifying that for me and probably a lot of people. He spoke about a Hopi prophecy, and the 1,000 or 144,000. I was wondering if you had anything to say about that.
Those are the volunteers who have come down for this mission. The 144,000 is the number of volunteers that needed to come down to be able to balance the energy for the ascension. And they are all mostly here listening. They are not aware of their roles. This is the reason why we have wanted to connect with people, because this is our messages directly to them. This is why people feel so connected to our messages, because they know that they are being upgraded and trained and expanded and learning from us. And they can resonate with our information so deeply because they can feel the truth deep within them, which is strange because they not always have the belief system of themselves, the faith and the love of themselves. So when our message resonates with them deeply, they want to shake it off because they have a low opinion of themselves. So they're like, oh no, this can't be true because I resonate with it and I'm not anything. And so the negativity and the bad self-talk that a lot of you have about yourselves is needs to be addressed. And we ask you all, if you're finding that you are saying mean things about yourselves, unkind things about yourselves, and untrue things about yourselves, please listen to what you're saying to yourself. Please listen to how you feel about yourselves. We can't say this enough, and we have asked you so many times to love yourselves. Love yourselves as a version of all, and see each other as each other. So it is, we understand this. The role of the 144,000 is to be able to be the higher vehicles of energy. Because you are all conduits of the higher energy that is being pulsed through into the earth, and you're able to absorb a lot of people's negative energies, shall we say, the lower density energies, shall we say, and process it better for them. So because a lot of people have those blocks, and so the higher energy beings are able to process their energy and flush it back into the system, shall we say.
Yes, thank you. Is myself or Joanne one of the 144,000, or is that allowed to be known?
You are all part of the volunteer system right now, and you have had the harder lessons. So yes, there is importance to your own missions. You are definitely high conduits of energy, and you are definitely helping others release their own tension and lower, denser energy. So you are definitely supporting people the way you should. There is obviously more people than the 144,000 that are helping. There's a lot of different missions going on here, a lot of different purposes. So yes, everyone listening here has got important roles to play to help humanity, that's for sure.
Thank you very much. I'm sure that will make a lot of people happy to hear that.
When we say the people here helping, we're saying about the audience who are listening. A lot of people know they have this calling. There are some people who have got low self-esteem, so they are rejecting what we're saying and they want to rubbish this information, and that is fine. Use your free will. But we just want to say that the people who are listening to these broadcasts, the people who are listening to our messages, you know, there's a reason for it, and we're explaining to you why.
Thank you very, very much. I'm gonna switch a little bit here. So I saw today somebody believes that there is no such thing as climate change, and I was wondering if you could elaborate on that a little bit.
Change is consistent. There's always change. Nothing stays the same. So your climate is changing because everything is changing. Nothing can be stagnant. There is no growth and stagnation. So there is change, but there is cycles as well. So while there is consistency and change which goes with the cycles, there is a lot that can be said, but really worrying about the environment at this point of time is like trying to close the gate after the horse has bolted, shall we say.
That would be kind of difficult. I've been hearing a lot about a great flood, different groups on Facebook, different people that normally aren't connected are all talking about the same thing. There are children that are seeing visions. And I was wondering if that was a thing. Is there going to be another flood?
Yes, there is going to be many floods around. There is going to be quite shocking floods that are going to take place. And this is part of the cleansing. This is part of the ascension process. There's nothing to worry and fear about. You've all signed up to be exactly where you are. And so you will experience hearing about the flood and maybe potentially witnessing the flood firsthand. Nothing to worry about. We have been trying to prepare you for the natural disasters that will be taking place. So the flood is also very symbolic of what has happened in the past with cleansing. And there is the great power of the water is very symbolic. The emotions with water, the energy of water, there's so much power in water. And the water is being used to cleanse many parts of the world right now, moving forward. It has all been planned, and it is part of the reset.
Thank you. So I keep hearing that you have tried this reset in the past and it has always failed, but it's not going to this time. Is there anything you want to tell me about that?
Humanity needs to be awoken to be able to have the higher frequencies, to be able to release a lot of their lower emotional baggage, shall we say. And there has been times in the past which we have wanted people to really profoundly awaken to and know what's happening, and but there has been so much fear. It's been impossible for you to have the higher emotions. And so each time we have tried to give humanity a big learning lesson to be able to grow from and emerge from and see the purpose of, and that to some extent that has helped some people, but because your systems, shall we say, are well designed to keep you in fear, it's been a battle from us and then them. The fear-mongering people who are trying to keep you all controlled with fear and dominate you all keeps and has been winning, shall we say. But this is all going to flip as the truth, the greater truth about how you have been living and how you've been so controlled is about to be unraveled and profoundly presented to you in a very undeniable way. So this is going to be the shock People are going to learn and grow from it quite rapidly and quickly. And so this is the approach that we wanted this time. Of course, we desperately wanted you to have done it all naturally yourselves. That would have been fantastic. But we also know it's not a fair playing ground. And we also know that there's a lot of pressure on you to keep yourselves in fear and to keep yourselves in check and to follow each other. So it's a complicated situation with lots of moving parts, but we feel like we have answered your question.
Yes, you have. Thank you. I'm going to switch to news and politics for a moment. I saw where George Soros and the Rockefellers are going to be in the news sometime soon. Is that part of the disclosure that's going to happen?
Yes, his activities and their activities are going to be very much discussed.
Thank you. About the Q movement, I was wondering if you could elaborate on that for us.
It is about soft disclosures and being able to try and give people information without it being public because of the challenges of getting the truths out there. And so it has been helping and guiding people to be able to know something bigger is happening behind the scenes. It is to give people hope. It is giving people the information without it being tampered with in some ways, because the bigger truths that you're being told is the disinformation. And so this has been trying to get the truth out there to the public, but it's also being heavily coded. So only the diligent people who have faith and who are trying to look at the information will get that as well. But it is sometimes too coded and people are misunderstanding the information, and it will all be very clear in hindsight later when it all unfolds. So it is helping people keep the faith, knowing that there is something bigger happening behind the scenes. And while we understand everyone wants the proof, everyone wants to see it as a tangible situation, your faith is being called upon to know that there is so much that happens behind the scenes. You're all very much aware that there is this very thin veneer of what society is really all about. And so it's about exploring and understanding the hidden purposes of things. And finding out how corrupt your systems are. So it is interesting for people who need to have the tangible confirmation. And while they are searching through the clues and the clarifications, they've actually been made to stop and think and use their minds to try and navigate, use their intuition to try and navigate. And so this is a wonderful puzzle for them to be able to grow and actually start using their thinking, because most people who are just going with the flow of the peer pressure of the mainstream information have not actually been able to engage in that thought process yet of thinking for themselves. So it is got many advantages to that, but some people have got impatient with it. Some people, it's not for them. And so that is fine. You're all getting to the same goal. So whoever wants to use that movement for their information, it's not doing them any harm. It is growing them, just like everything is growing you.
Thank you. Is there any difference between the Q movement and the QAnon or the anonymous group? Is there any affiliations or differences that we should know about?
Yes, the anonymous group is quite different from its original platform, and the Q movement is the QAnons. So there's differences. Both of them, the original state of the anonymous and the original state of the QAnons and the Q movement, shall we say, is different. The different fractions. They both want the truth to be out. However, the anonymous party, people, beings, it has been the original intentions for it to be able to tell people what's been going on behind the scenes and what they could understand and see. That's been taken out. They have been blocked to share the information. So now it is almost disinformation that has been shared because they were just the most tremendous threat. They were trying to get the truth out. And when you have a big, many people trying to conceal the truth from you and hide the truth from you, this was definitely a big thorn in their side. So of course they resolved that quite quickly.
Thank you very much. Are there any media outlets right now, mainstream or not mainstream, that we should be paying attention to?
Yes, you can pay attention to all and use your intuition to read whether it is true or whether you are being told lies. Don't be afraid to use your intuition to navigate. Don't be afraid of looking at anything. Don't be afraid of exploring anything. Don't hide yourselves from disinformation. Own the fact that you can call disinformation. You know it. It is fine. You have been awakened. You have been listening to our messages. You have been you have got the healing and the strength, and with the natural vibrations of this earth, you have grown and grown and grown, and your intuition is better now than it ever has been. So do indulge yourselves, play with it. See if you can spot the nonsense with the fear, with everything else. Take this time, entertain yourselves. It's just going to grow your intuition. And, when you start doubting your own intuition, that's when you're going to get into trouble, shall we say. Of course, it's not trouble, but you're just going to take yourself on a little bit of a sidestep. So just remember, when we gave you that big lesson and you had to really dig deep and you were totally broken with your information from us, and you had to build up in sense what is true, what is not, what is true, what is not, and you had to feel emotionally through what you really resonated with in your hearts. You've now rebuilt yourself so much stronger. You can cope with watching some mainstream media, and you will be able to know whether it resonates with you or not. Our only wish for you is for you to stop having the negative doubts about yourselves and your intuition. You know the truth. Follow yourself. You have not had all of this experience for it to now be doubted upon. And so, please grow with it. Please explore it. You have to use your intuition. You have to. So explore things that you would not necessarily do, just to be able to strengthen yourself.
Thank you. I have been seeing October 22nd. Is there any significance to that, or should we just stop asking about dates and just ride with it?
That date is significant, but not for the reasons what you're thinking. All dates are significant. Life is significant. While you're counting down the times, it is important. And there is significance in all of the days that you're experiencing. Don't for a minute think that a day is wasted because the disclosure hasn't happened and you're all finding out the bigger truths. You've still got a lot of work to do every single day, every single minute, every single hour that you're experiencing things now. It's all opportunity for you to release, all opportunities for you to strengthen yourselves. So there is no need to waste. There's no need to feel bored. There's a lot of things for you to be actually doing. So we're not going to be saying any specific dates, because if we said, yeah, everything's going to be perfect in 3 days, so don't worry about your own inner work, you're sweet. No. You still all have stuff. You still all have stuff you can process and grow from and strengthen from. So there is nothing for you to be bored about. or impatient about. If you're feeling impatient, you're just distracting yourselves from the inner work you still need to be doing.
Thank you very much. Will we make it into January of 2021?
You will not be counting Januaries when you have shifted. You're asking for yourself, and this is a question that is valid. We are fine to answer your own question, but we're going to tell you that you will not be counting days and time at that reference point from where you are now. We cannot tell and speak for all who are listening. So we're going to say directly to you, you will not be counting time.
I understand. Thank you very, very much. I was wondering if we could call Nikola Tesla in, please.
Yes, hello.
Hello, thank you for joining us today. Do you have a message for humanity?
Yes, I have had many messages to humanity, and this is not the first time I have come in. I have not introduced myself, but I have been observing and experiencing this channel as well. So I have been part and agreeing upon the information that has been serviced to you at this time.
Thank you. Is there anything else that you would like to add today for us?
Time is an illusion of construct, and it can be manipulated. And while it may be challenging for people to understand when you're so diligently looking at one clock on your wrist and it is slowly moving forward, that is not what you can really truly count and measure as the experience and the existence of your lives. That is true time for this lifetime that you're experiencing on this planet right now. That is, we accept that's how you have chosen to count your experiences in measurements and units. That is completely fine. But when you are viewing time with that construct, it is challenging and also limiting you. There is much that I could explore, and I do want to have a complete session done later for myself to be able to express things more clearly. This isn't the time now for that, but yes, there has been a lot of my work that is being used now, and yes, there is a lot that is have been misconstrued, a lot that has been concealed, and a lot that has been used. So it is there is a lot that I could talk about with my work, but this is not the appropriate time to go and extend and expand on that. But I did come in here today to be able to acknowledge, yes, I have been here, yes, I have given messages through some of these informations, which has been solely my information that I wanted to share because I know people will resonate with my energy. While there has been many other beings who have been also sharing their messages throughout all of these sessions, we don't want to get you confused about who the messages are from. We're all collectively together, but then there has been times where I have come in and said my piece.
Thank you so much for coming in and joining us today. May I speak back to subconscious, please?
Yes.
Subconscious, is there anything else you want to tell us today?
We don't want people to lose faith. We know that it is hard. We know that there is a lot of information getting out there that seems to be almost contradicting what we have been saying in these sessions. we understand that, and this is also a great opportunity for you to use your intuition and go within and trust yourselves. Don't trust anyone else but yourselves. That will always strengthen you. And just be fluid with the information that you do trust. Sometimes when we have looked upon our leaders and influencers, shall we say, when they have told us something that we feel like is possibly true, oh yes, great, that's fine, we'll keep that in our knowledge bank as fact and belief systems. When you apply some, we don't want to say disinformation, but we will say this for this analogy, when you have added in disinformation into your belief systems as fact, and you have based your information from that building foundation block, shall we say, and then you have added on lots of other proof to support that misinformation, you can understand you've got a tower of misinformation facts. And they need to be broken down. And so do not hold all that you feel that you know as the absolute truths, because we know that you all can be easily influenced by certain people and their egos and their understandings of things. So if you feel now that something's not quite resonating with you about that person, do go back and see if you have still adopted and held on to some foundation blocks of their information as your own. And so it is not about, oh gosh darn, you were wrong again. No, it is all fine. It's all stepping stones and blocks. But definitely do ask within yourself, is there any information that I'm holding as fact about certain things that may actually not be my own information? And so this was part of your experience and lesson that we gave you, was to break everything down, everything, be completely broken down and start building up your new blocks, building up your new foundations of information and knowledge that's resonates with you now, because you're definitely different from the beginning of the year, shall we say. Your intuition has grown so much. It is really, 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 really good now when you have that trust and belief in yourself and that self-love, and when you can empower yourself with knowing that you are a much more intelligent being than others, because you know the truth within you. So while you do appreciate and like certain people and influences, and you can resonate with them, just be questioning now everything that you have held as beliefs, just to make sure that it is still resonating with you. And it is just growth. It is just building. There is no right and wrong in this. This is just you're trying to build a big block of information, and sometimes you may need to strengthen some areas of your wall, shall we say, and other times you can remove some information. We know this analogy is not the most easiest one, but this is the one that we've chosen today.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being with us today.
We're always happy to help, because we know that the people listening do want the information. And while we say you can use your intuition to trust and sense what we're saying to you, we are happy to help. We do want to keep asking people to see if you can apply our information to yourselves, rather than just actively listening but not actively applying. And this is where we feel like a lot of people are still kind of not able to apply the information and grow from the information, because they're just taking it as entertainment factor on the side of their lives while they're very, very busy. And so they feel like, well, I've listened to this information, but my life isn't any different or better or whatever they're expecting from us. You have to literally do your own inner work. You literally have to. We can't do it for you. We can give you all of the information, but it's not until you start processing and applying it. We know a lot of you, we know a lot of some, okay, we don't want to we know there are some people who are like hoarders of this information. They want to learn and hear everything, but they're not learning from it because they're not applying it. And so you're just listing it's not, that doesn't work for you in this stuff. You can't do that. You're not growing from it when you're not applying it and strengthening yourselves. So this is definitely how some people are getting confused, that they're not feeling their true inner love. They still have a lot of blocks because they actually haven't done the exercises we have asked them to do. And yeah, we feel like we're over explaining things now, but we want people to know that we understand. We understand it is challenging, but when you are ready and willing to empower yourselves, you will, and we will always be here to support you when you do.
Thank you very, very much.
And we just want to add that, of course, we're supporting you when you don't as well. So don't feel bad that you may or may not have been applying this information. We understand too, but you've had to grow and release a lot. So we don't want you to feel like we're judging you, because we don't. We understand completely how things are.